there, my name's Alex and welcome to another Home and Away video. I have got quite a video for you today. Oh, it's gonna be a bit of a story time, I think, a bit of news, a bit of rumors, just a bit of everything. So buckle in, we're talking about Willex, we're talking about just, stuff. So a bit of backstory on where this video is coming from. Last year, I believe it was November, New Zealand aired some scenes that had previously aired in Australia. I think it was October. And we realized there were some scenes in the New Zealand version that weren't in the Australian version. Specifically, there were kisses and intimate moments that were in the New Zealand version that weren't in the Australian version. I've done a whole video on it. I will have that linked in the description if you want to watch that first to sort of get a better idea and context of the rest of this story. But that's the starting point of all this. So I made that video last year, and then last weekend, I was contacted by Elise from ABC, and she said, I saw your tweets and your videos last year about the situation with Willow and Alex and Home and Away, and their sort of deleting / censoring their scenes on the Australian version, and I'd love to chat to you about it if you would like. And I said, hell yeah. I was like, any chance to talk about Willex, I'm here for it. Of course, I'll chat to you. I don't know, what more I could say outside of what I'd said in my videos, but sure, let's chat. So she calls me up, we have a great conversation, we talk about all sorts of things, just sort of the context of everything, my thoughts, my feelings, what I'd like from Home and Away, from the characters, what I'd like from Channel 7, like she asked, would I like to sort of hear an explanation for why there are different versions? And I was like, yes, of course. I mean, I would love to sort of give them the benefit of the doubt because I love this couple so much. But it's hard to with Home and Away's history. They don't have great reputation. So I would genuinely love a great explanation for why there's two different versions, and I would love to hear an explanation. So yeah, absolutely. So we have the interview, and she tells me that she's going to interview a couple other like industry people, and then she's gonna sort of ask a comment from Channel 7, see if they respond at all. And then she was going to write up the article and so on. I will have a link in the description to the article if you would like to read it. I would definitely check it out. Gives some more information and some great insight on sort of other people's sort of insight on it all. It's a good read. I would definitely check it out. Link is in the description. So yeah, I had that interview earlier on in the week, and then yesterday, Thursday, she calls me up in the middle of the day and she's like, I just wanted to give you an update because I know you said that you would love an explanation in regards to Willex and the different versions, and Channel 7 gave me an sort of their explanation for it. And I thought I would just let you know and hear if you had any thoughts or any other opinions on it. I was like, okay, I'm curious. So she tells me it's human error. And I was like initially, like the first thing she says is they're saying it's due to human error. And I was like, what? What does that mean? What does human error mean? What could that possibly mean? She goes on to say that they were supposed to air the scenes that aired in New Zealand in Australia, but they accidentally aired the edited version. It was an accident that they went up. And I was like, what? I credit to Elise because I was struggling to get my head around it all. And I was trying to sort of put into words what I was thinking, but I was so confused by it all. Anyway, so human error was the explanation. Now, just as a little context, this is before all the shit went down last night, which I'm going to go into more depth, but before we'd learned about any other potential scenes being edited, okay? So these were just sort of comments based on the scenes edited in 2019, those November / October episodes. And I was confused because one, these scenes aired over multiple episodes, so it's multiple counts of human error. And these scenes only affected Willow and Alex, so it's not like the whole episode was a different edited cut. It was just Alex and Willow scenes that was a different edited cut. And I was like, why do they have two versions that are TV ready, because, they need to cut these scenes. They need to color correct these scenes. They need to, do audio editing. There's a lot that goes into, a video before it goes to air. And they apparently had 2 versions of the Willex scenes ready for air. And they just accidentally put to air the wrong ones. So I guess my question was, why do they have these 2 to begin with? Why? Also, how do they accidentally put to air the wrong version multiple times? It didn't answer any of my questions, to be honest. It just made me sort of like have more questions, because like in the reality of the situation was, are you censoring Alex and Willow? And like, to be honest, they kind of confirmed that they did. They had an edited version where they censored Alex and Willow. There's a lot of censoring of their kiss, their relationship. What they say is they didn't intend to air that censored version, but they did accidentally. So the question is, why did they censor it? Is it because they are trying to downplay the relationship because they know Alex is leaving? I don't know. I mean, that's not confirmed. I don't know if Alex is leaving, though there are rumors. I will talk about that. Is there a censored version because they got backlash, so that they want to keep the couple around, but they're trying to sort of pander to a broader audience? Why do they have this censored version? That was the big question, the original question. Why was this censored and why was it aired? And they answered the question of why was it aired, because it was an accident apparently, but why was it there in the first place? Why did they have this censored version? So yeah, I was really confused by that. It would just sort of like brought up way more questions than it answered. So yeah, that goes ahead. And I'm like, okay, confused, go about my day. At the end of last night, so at the end of Thursday night, all this sort of like other news drops, and it's just sort of like blows everything up, right? I was like, this kind of makes Channel 7 look like a huge liar for saying that it was human error. So what happened was, multiple things have happened, okay? So last night, Thursday's episode airs, okay? And apparently there have been spoiler pictures of that scene that aired on Thursday that have been going around for a while. We're used to spoiler pictures going out. This is not a new thing. But the spoiler pictures sort of show them kissing in a scene. The scene that aired on Thursday had edited out that kiss. The whole scene was sort of there, and you can see where the kiss is supposed to be. It's like in between a scene. It's not like at the end of the scene and they've just made the scene shorter. They've edited like in the middle of a scene again. Like, this is not the first time they've done it. Okay, so they had cut out another kiss from Willex scene. So that was the first thing that happened. Second thing was New Zealand it went out that New Zealand had dropped spoilers for the Siege episode. So remember, New Zealand is a little bit behind us. It looks like they're only a week behind us, because apparently these scenes are airing next week. And they were the scenes that aired here in Australia on Monday. So this Siege spoilers that aired on New Zealand's website said that Willow declares her love for Alex, which we clearly didn't get in the Siege scenes here in Australia. There was I love that about you, but we've had that from Willow before, where that's not like a new sort of spoiler-worthy sentence. We've had that, I love that about you. So that kind of declaration of love does make you think that she's going to say an I love you. Not I love that about you, I love you. And we clearly didn't get that in the Australian Siege version. So it will be really interesting to see if there is an I love you in the New Zealand version that airs next week. But I also, as a side note, am kind of nervous, because clearly, I mean, this article has gone up. It's kind of blown up a little bit on social media. And Channel 7 know that people are sort of taking notice of it now. So I worry, even if there was an I love you in that Siege episode, maybe Channel 7's gonna like crack down on New Zealand airing that because they don't want more backlash. So who knows, like, New Zealand might air the exact same episode that we had on Monday, but who knows if that was actually the episode that they were going to air before all this shit blew up. I don't trust Channel 7, to be honest. The next thing that happened is kind of like people are sort of theorizing. It's not like any proof or anything like that, but there's a scene where Willow and Alex are grabbing coffee in the Siege episode, so that double episode. They're getting coffee. Alex is, stressed, anxious. She doesn't have time to break because she copes with just, helping. And people have said that it looks like, and you can hear that there's supposed to be a kiss in that scene, but they just have a hug. So people are thinking that there was a kiss edited from that scene as well. So there was multiple things that happened last night after I'd heard that the November scenes were human error. So then I'm thinking last night, Channel 7 is full of shit. As if, what? When I first heard it was due to human error, I was confused and very skeptical to begin with. But then after everything that came out last night, I'm like, these guys are full of shit. What? So, oh my God, I am still trying to get my head around it. I mean, I've been tweeting about it today. Lots of people have been tweeting me back and really interesting stuff that they've been saying. Someone said, if they're going to just edit out Willow and Alex, just say it. If they're planning on sort of weaning out Alex and Willow's storyline, just say it. Why are you trying to cover it up? Just say you're getting rid of Willow and Alex. You don't want these scenes on air. Just say it. Why are they lying is the thing. Clearly, they're not going to have a great reception to that. But they're not going to have a great reception to, if they lie and, it comes out the other way. The only way they're going to have a good reception is if they actually do representation well. But I think that happening is the chances of that happening is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. I also had someone tweet me saying that Home and Away is now I haven't fact checked this, but they said Home and Away is the last soap opera in the world to feature regular queer characters. Now, when I did my interview with Elise, I did mention neither Neighbours or Home and Away. And just keep in mind, both Neighbours and Home and Away are probably one of the longest running soap operas in the world. They're definitely up there. They've been going for ages. And neither one of them have had a long-term lesbian relationship. Neither of them. Okay? They've had these lesbian storylines, these queer storylines, but no long-term lesbian relationship. Now, what Neighbours does have is they do have a gay couple, and they've had a long-term gay couple, though it's not a lesbian couple, but they do have a gay couple. So Home and Away is apparently the last soap opera in the world to not have a queer, long-term relationship, characters, all that jazz. Which I was like, oh, that's awful. That is so bad. That is so bad, especially considering how long these two, Home and Away and Neighbours have been running. There's no excuse. One thing that I did find really interesting in the article that Elise did was Jane Allen, who I believe was a writer on Jeanette King. I think that's right. She mentioned that, Australia does have a long way to go for representation. And she sort of mentioned how, soap operas are losing a lot of viewers to streaming services and YouTube and all that sort of stuff. And while Home and Away is still in quite a good condition, they are still very popular, obviously here in Australia, but they're also really, really big in the UK. So while they do have quite a steady following, they are regularly losing an audience to these streaming services and stuff like that. So she says that there is sort of that push or that need to pander to the broader audience, she says, which I found really interesting. It got me thinking, the reason these shows are losing those audience members, which, typically would be a younger audience. They're going to YouTube, they're going to these streaming services. The reason why they're losing these audiences is because they don't have those diverse storylines. And the reason why they don't have these diverse storylines is because they're trying to pander to the sort of majority of the audience, but more and more of that majority of the audience is falling away because they don't have these diverse storylines. I found it so interesting because soap operas are they have the perfect recipe to be, content that these younger generations or younger audience could go and watch. And it sounds silly, like knowing the history of soap operas, they're typically, you know, their audience is typically, you know, older or stay-at-home mums or, you know, that kind of audience. That's the typical what historically they've been centered towards. But when you think about it, soap operas are exactly what the younger audience are looking for. They're looking for daily, year-round content. Daily, year-round content that is free. That's what we're looking for, to be honest. Like, I feel like a younger audience is more likely, if there is a good storyline, they're more likely to watch it on a soap opera because of the ease of access to it than on a, you know, a paid streaming service. Though majority of us do have those paid streaming services, it would obviously be easier just to watch these soap operas that are free, that, you know, have content releasing every single day, every single weekday. Like, if they just sort of shifted their focus from their typical audience that they've been trying to capture for the last 30, 50 years, you know, they would instantly grab this younger audience because this is exactly what we're looking for. And honestly, like, just look at any queer soap opera storyline or relationship. They blow up online. It's just like, they are huge. I don't understand why these soap operas don't fully focus on this audience, because we eat it up. Like, honestly, every single queer soap opera storyline, they blow up online. I mean, even just recently, like last year with Huli and Tina, like, they blew up so much that they got their own spin-off series and their own movie. Like, come on, like, it's right there. We want this kind of shit. Just give it to us. So it blows my mind that they're just like, they're too scared. They're too scared to go there, that they're losing like this huge audience, I feel like. But yeah, I kind of went on a bit of a rant there. But, oh man, it's just, this whole situation is just like, my mind has been like swelling. Like, it's just so much that's happening, and I'm like confused and angry and pissed and like confused. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good summary of what's been happening over the past week with Home and Away and Willex. Let me know your thoughts. What are you thinking? What do you think of Channel 7's reasoning for those edited scenes? Do you think they're legit for reasons, or do you think they're full of shit? What do you think? I mean, we're going to have to wait until next week until, you know, New Zealand airs their episodes. But what do you think of the potentially edited scenes from this week's episode? Oh, I also do want to quickly mention, there are rumors going around that Zoe, who plays Alex, is leaving the show because she's pregnant and she lives full-time in LA. Again, these are just rumors. Nothing has been confirmed. The rumors are saying that her last scenes should air around March. So yeah, I guess I would love to hear your thoughts on, with all the stuff that's happening, with all the edited stuff, do you think that's them trying to sort of play down their relationship so they could sort of write Alex off easier when it comes to March? There's so much happening. So much happening, and I really love to hear your thoughts of it in the comment section below. Like I said, go read the article that Elise did. Go check out my original video that I did. Just like bookmark the Willex hashtag on Twitter, because there's so much shit going down. Yeah, just keep your eye on that. But yeah, I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, hit that like button and subscribe if you're new. I will see you guys in my next one. Okay, bye.